Hello everyone, this is your classmate Tosano. My presentation topic is an introduction to administration. This will be my presentation outline. Let me present the very first subtopic of this, which is a biblical foundation for organizations. It is taken from Exodus 18 verses 21 to 23. This is the dialogue between Moses and his father-in-law Jethro. Jethro said to Moses, "Moreover, look for able men from all the people, men who fear God, who are trustworthy and hate a bribe, and place such men over the peoples as chiefs of thousands, of hundreds, of fifteens, and of tens, and let them judge the people at all times. Every great matter they shall bring to you, but any small matter they shall decide themselves. So it will be easier for you, and they will bear the burden with you. If you do this, God will direct you. You will be able to endure, and all these people also will go to their place in peace." Moses accepted his father-in-law advice. So we can get some interesting or some insight from this passage. The first one is God appoint leaders. So God expects those leaders to function effectively. Like Moses, he cannot do everything. He can do anything, but he can do everything. So leaders who try to do the job alone either burn out themselves or wear out the followers. God often provides advisor to assist us in leadership. Moses has advisor, his father-in-law, who advised him. By having delegates, a leader can focus on the main issue. He cannot to handle any small issue. All the delegates, they must be qualified to do the job that they are being assigned. And also they should be given according to their abilities. Paul also taught about administration. In 1 Corinthians 14:26, it stated, "How it is then, brothers, whenever you come together, each one has a psalms, a teaching, a revelation, another language, or an interpretation. All things must be done for edifications." So God is not a God of disorder, but God of peace. Peace, irony in Greek, it means quietness, a harmonized relationship, a sense of rest and contentment. Therefore, 1 Corinthians 14, verse 40 is said that everything must be done in a fitting and orderly way. Paul wanted to do us even in our churches. We have to do in a proper and fitting manners. Therefore, there should be order, sensibility, consistency, and guidance. Two major organizations of the Bible is about Moses and Paul. Both of them have dual citizenship, and also two of them grew up in very known culture during their times, and also two of them were very educated. Regarding their callings, both of them received divine revelation from God, but their destinations is a little bit different. Uh, Moses was called to lead Israelites from Egypt to Promised Land, but Paul was called to form the ecclesia into the body called the church. For religious education, Moses was trained under Jethro and Paul was trained under Gamaliel. The important to take note from this is God chose significant leaders who were prepared for the tasks of leadership and organization. Here are some significance of New Testament passages related to this description of administration in the church. So, administration is not practical versus spiritual. It's about concern the minister total tasks. It is brought about scholarly study. and also it is an art to be practiced. Administration is primarily concerned with persons, not process. It is the mean to an end, the process that lead to a product. Administration is an orderly process. It is a preserver of peace, not a producer of conflict. Finally, administration is a sort of fellowship. Here are some essential understanding of the administrative responsibility of the church. The first one is the church has to define and set forth the purpose, aim, objective, and goals of the church. The second one is to lay down a broad plan for struggling the church organization. And the third one is to organize and recruit the executive staff outlined in the plan. Another one is to provide clear delegations and allocation of authority and responsibility. The next one is to provide standardization of all activities and programs in order to ensure goals and objectives are uniformly met. Another one is to make provisions for committee, council, ministry team to achieve good coordination between all facets of the ministry. The last one is to provide for evaluations and look ahead to ways of improving church programs, activities, and ministry. Another subtopic for this presentation is historical philosophy of administration. Before we are going this, Paul warns us in Colossians 2:8. It says, "Be careful that no one takes you captive through philosophy and empty disease based on human tradition, based on the elemental forces of the world, and not based upon Christ." There are four major philosophies of management thought have evolved in the past century. There are the scientist school, the human behavior school, the management process school, and the quantitative school. Let's go to the first scientific school. This philosophy best embodies the concept of task management by administrator. This philosophy is mainly modified by Frederick Taylor. Taylor given four principles. The first one is discover the best way to accomplish a task, and another one is discover the best worker to accomplish the task, and the third one is provide incentive for the worker, and lastly provide close supervision by the manager. Another philosophy is the human behavior school. This one is made by Mayer and McGregory research. It is based on two of their research. Mayo used a typical research study format of control group that got no variance light intensity and an experimental group whose light intensity was changed every day. The objective was to lower lights until the product's rate significantly decreased below the standard set by the control group. Mayer discovered in his research had nothing to do with light intensity. It had everything to do with human nature. He found it made no difference whether the lighting was poor or good. Productivity in the experimental group increased. They increased productivity possibly for fear of losing their job because they might be passive as producing less. The important factors of increased productivity were the perception of workers that management was paying attention to them, and the pride of the worker by being placed in a special group, and conversely the pride of workmanship despite being placed in a special category by the group control. It all focused on the individual, the worker, not the work. McGregory, his thesis was that management must change the attitude and position of the worker, assessing them for what their capabilities are now and how best to address those issues. X worker is a passive with low risk taker who prefer job security. This worker needs to be administrated with policy, rules, and close supervision. Y person is an individual who works best in creative and reward focused, insensitive atmosphere. Their potential and capability needs to be considered. They require less supervision. Another philosophy is the management process school. This is modified by Henry Fayol, who divided business operation into six segments. The first one is technical, which is producing and manufacturing products. And another one is commercial, it is buying raw material and selling products. The next one is financial, which is acquiring and using capital. The fourth one is security. It is protecting employees and property. Another one is accounting, which is taking stock of profit and cost. The last one is managing. It is the functions of guiding the organization. Important to take note is that Fayol, who defines management as something someone did, not a title or a position. He continually describes five functions of manager. The first one is planning, which means examining the future and drawing up a plan of actions. Another one is organizing, which means building up a dual structure of human and material to achieve an undertaking. The third function of manager is commanding, which means maintaining activity among the personnel of the organizations. And also the another one is coordinating. It is building together, unifying and harmonizing all activities and effort. The last one is controlling, which is seeing that everything was accomplished in conformity with the established plan. The last philosophy of management thought is the quantitative school. This school takes the problem faced by management and call on experts from various disciplines to solve the problem using mathematical models. This school follows six steps of process. Firstly, they formulate the problem. Later, they construct a mathematical model. Later, they get a solutions and tested the model and solutions. After that, they establish controls over the solutions. Finally, they put the solution to work. Another subtopic for this presentation is historical foundations for administrative theory. It has three approachment. The first one is the system approach and the contingency approach, and the last one is the total quality management approach. The system approach, it encourages the manager to combine the concerns for tasks, people, process, and problems in an approach that calls for a manager to integrate his styles of management to fit the situation. Another approachment is the contingency approach. This approach describes a system that varies with the situations or circumstances that are present. It allows the manager to ask questions. The contingency approach has managers draw from the foundational theories described above and select the theory or combinations of theory that best apply in the particular situation. Another approachment is the total quality management approach. This method describes a systematic and structures to continuous improvement. There are five principles associated with total quality management. The first one is remain customer focused. It is asking what does the customer want. And the second one is the system thinking. It considers the activity from beginning to end. And the third one is leadership. It must remain focused to the service or products. Another one is continuous improvement. It should be every phase of the operations. And the last one is shared decision making. It's all level, work out to manager in the organization. Another subtopic for this presentation is administration defined. It has sometimes we may confuse management and administration. So, management means a technical term that describes the leadership given to an organization and the process for providing the personal, physical, and physical resources to meet defined goals. Whereas administration is the process of utilizing of the personal, physical, and physical issue resources in order to meet the organization's objective and goals. This is the last subtopic for this presentation, interpretation of administration in the Luke Church. Here are some understandings of the term church. The first understanding is a living organism. The church is a living organism. Believer are a temple of God, and also believer is the priest of that temple. The church is being described as a building with Christ as the cornerstone. Ministry in the early church was the recognition of ability and appointment by the Holy Spirit. This is Jerome's discussion about church administration. He said that Christ owned the church and provide direct directions through the Holy Spirit to lead us in the church. He said that those unidentified leaders are the bishop, presbyters, elders, pastor, teachers, and deacon. In his discussion, this board of leaders provides the management decision that leads the church in accomplishing the objectives, goals of the church. And also this leader designates particular senior minister through which the organizations function to carry out the missions of the church. The other professional clergy and paid and lay leaderships, they become the staff. Finally, the church member became the worker who carry out the work of ministry to meet the objectives and goals of the church. Thank you very much for watching.